Hello, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. We are swinging into a top 10 from two of my favorite people and content creators in the space.
That's so sweet.
This is going to be Max. He's alright. This is going to be Doolin. He's freaking amazing.
Aw, that's really sweet.
It's only because they've met me before. I guess they've met you.
They both run a channel called Tablenauts. And here's the exciting thing. When I was down here in Kentucky full-time, Max started coming over to my house about every week to film videos, to keep the channel running, and to continue growing. So if you've seen him on the channel before, and you like the stuff that this guy does, you gotta swing over to Tablenauts, link at the top of this video description, and subscribe. Honestly, they're putting out some of the funniest content in the space. Doolin here is the reason the content's funny. It's not Max.
True.
Doolin is charming.
That's fair.
He's a gentleman. He even offered to walk my dog for an entire week.
It's true.
And I don't even own a dog.
Yeah.
So, you guys want to describe what we do over on Tablenauts?
dog.
And then we'll swing into your top 10s.
Yeah, so we just have fun. Like, we do the hotness, which is we eat spicy foods and talk about the top 10 on the BGG. We do a lot of, like,
Which,
lists. And
by the time this is coming out, I think we're approaching an episode
Yeah.
where I deal with my greatest weakness.
Yes.
Emotional openness. And
That would be
also spice.
Yeah, a lot of it is just to hopefully create a space where people can laugh and have fun.
Right. Feel like they're at the table with us. We just like to make sure that, we're all having a good time. No matter what we're doing, we're having fun and enjoying our community as well.
So, enjoy this top 10. We're going to break down, and a lot of things have changed over the last, 8-9 months since the last time you did this.
Yeah.
Enjoy this top 10. If you find that you match up with their personalities or the games that they're talking about, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Or you just want to see us suffer eating hot things.
That's also
That's fine too.
how that works. Let's start with your number one, the best of all time.
Wait, number one?
So wait, isn't that how this works?
I stacked my games in the wrong order.
So that no one has to watch past the 5-minute mark.
Oh, that's fair.
We give them number one
Yeah,
now.
that makes
Isn't
sense. That makes sense.
strategically,
Yeah, absolutely.
the YouTube algorithm
Yeah.
incentivizes people clicking off early.
So number one is Pandemic.
Okay, great, perfect.
Just kidding.
Let's start with number 10.
Okay, you want me to go first?
Let's go
or
for
Doolin?
it. Either one of you, whoever honestly gets
I'll
there first.
start.
Perfect, Doolin, go ahead.
All right.
All right, perfect. My number 10
He's
is
not
your
even
favorite game of
Hair.
all time.
Nemesis.
Oh,
by
you love
Lycan
this
Realms.
game.
Yeah, we actually have a really cool playthrough where we all.
It was a great playthrough.
We're here, yeah.
It was a great playthrough.
It's actually one of the reasons why I love this game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I
And
love
it's one of the reasons why it fell out of my top 10.
And it's one of the reasons why I still am not convinced. I think I'm working on a redemption arc for Nemesis, though. I'm going to be honest. I think cooperative is the only way to play the game.
Just full co-op.
Okay. But one of my favorite things, and the reason that it's in my top
Contradict
10,
what I just said.
Yep.
yeah, is the problem is that I love cooperative games typically, and normally when I go into games where there's maybe some hidden roles and stuff, I like to work with people anyway. I like to respect that maybe everybody just wants to be my friend, but something about this game,
He's used to that.
and the danger that it creates with the monsters, and every turn can be the last. The moment that I can benefit from anything, I'm taking it. So much so that in our playthrough, you and I just hop ship the moment that we could.
We tuck and knuckered out of that.
I
as
was
fast as we
literally
could.
left alone with the queen.
It was great.
I edited that video from a 3.5-hour video to an hour video. We left at maybe the 1.5-hour mark.
Yeah.
There was a good 2 hours after that.
We played the crew.
We played
We just
multiple
picked up-
times.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was great.
It was a
loved that.
fantastic game play where I just enjoyed leaving and getting to see the chaos that ensued.
Cool.
It was so good. It was so good.
A strong number 10. I like your compelling argument, even if I don't necessarily agree with it. But that's the cool thing about these list videos.
That's
I
right.
love these list videos
Yeah.
because you get to see what matches up, what do people agree on,
Right.
and then where do people stand out. Speaking of,
Your I
number
don't
10.
have my number 10 with me, so I can't pull it on screen. It's in a very small box, and it's called Skull King.
Oh, why don't you have
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I actually went when I visited Nova Scotia.
Okay.
When I visited Jeff and Jamie from Foster the Meeple,
Yep.
which you should check out their channel as well.
Don't do that.
I
Just
actually
Tablenauts.
don't say that. I actually just left it for them because we had such a good time
Yeah.
with it. So I left it at their house, and I haven't
love
repurchased
games.
it.
I love games that you do that with. I
Yeah.
have a few of those that I've had a few times that I just drop off because they're great.
Yeah.
Talk about.
I need to
Skull.
rebuy it because it is one of my favorites. I'm not big into trick-taking games as a whole. I don't like the crew. Sorry, just it's not a fan of it.
Hot take, and neither do we.
We're all in agreement here. But Skull King does something so well in that it's such a like push your luck ordeal with whether you want to try and stay safe and bet 2 or 3 and earn a little points, or if you want to bet 0 and try and go all out.
Yeah.
And that's the way I play. I bet 0 basically every time because it's incredibly fun.
If you ever play with Max, you got it.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, the first, 5 rounds I succeed, and then everyone's like, wow, he has twice as many points as us, and then it's all out to get me.
Yeah.
But the thing with Skull King is, especially if you lean into, the ho-ho, yo-ho-ho, and bang the table and stuff, it does
That
a
would be the
really
Santa
good
variant.
job. Yeah, ho-ho-ho. It does a really good job at keeping the game extremely competitive, but also, extremely lighthearted.
Yeah.
When I'm playing Skull King, I want to win. But I'm also just having a blast. So, I'm not mad when I lose.
It's that perfect intersection.
Yeah, it's I'm very competitive, but...
You get to brag when you win.
Right.
But if you lose, you just laugh
You just
for
have
10
fun
minutes
the whole
straight.
time.
Yeah.
Right. It's such a great intersection of combining those two things without overwhelming one or the other and making it too silly or too competitive.
I would like to play with you.
Oh, it's so good.
Because
Yeah,
what
we
you're
definitely do
describing
that.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
experience has been
Not
the
so
counter to
great,
that.
really?
Well, it's been people sitting around that aren't into it, that
Oh.
just taking the trick-taking and not doing the immersion.
No, yeah, you gotta get into games. And that's something that we try and do is just lean into the fun. I mean, that's why we're here.
I like it. Number 9.
Number 9 is one that you might veto.
Just going
mainly
double
because-
vetoes on the list?
Yeah, mainly because it doesn't exist yet.
Oh, you played it though.
This is an interesting...
You've
I know
played
what
it.
this is.
Okay.
Is this Bloodstone?
It is Bloodstone.
It's so good.
It's one of the...
It's so good.
It could be number 1. It could be number 1.
I did my list of 10 biggest disappointments from the year, and Bloodstone not funding
Right. Well, kind of.
is one of them.
Yes.
No, I mean, it did, but logistically,
Right.
it was
I
the
understand.
responsible thing for them to do to
Yeah.
delay and rework
Are you
the
okay
system.
with this being on the list?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, awesome. So Bloodstone is this boss. If you play the cooperative mode, the boss monster feeling from a video game at the end of a level, and you and your friends are just you get thrown into this pit, and massive things happen. It's swinging fire around that you gotta somehow maneuver around while also taking swings. It's just this great dice chucker boss battler.
Cool asymmetric
Oh man!
powers.
And there's an option to play with up to 8 of your friends,
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
all in the gladiatorial
Yeah.
arena. That's gonna be incredible once it comes out.
The way
Whatever
I
that may
describe it is if you like Dice Throne or any of the concepts behind Dice
Oh,
Throne,
man.
it is the best version of because you put yourself on a map.
It reminds me of Super Fantasy Brawl a lot too.
That's totally true.
But with dice combat, because that's only card combat.
Right.
But it's
Love it.
really great.
I love
And
it.
we have a playthrough of that and had an amazing time.
You
I
can
love
watch
Bloodstone.
me fall in love with something.
Literally. It's incredible.
It's just, oh, man.
Yeah.
And I gush over the game every time I think about it. But it probably won't hit stores for,
Which is
if it
interesting, because
ever
if you
will.
watch our Nemesis gameplay, that was the first time we met, and there too you can watch you fall in love with
It's true.
someone.
It's absolutely
Yeah. Thank you. Max.
My number 9
What are we thinking?
is
Where
a
we
game
going?
that you also love so dearly by Sinfung Lim and Jay Cormier and Off the Page Games.
I got
This
one
is
problem.
Mind MGMT.
I got
that
one
it's not
problem.
higher.
Why is it not higher?
That it's not
Why
higher.
is it not higher? How many times have you played it? Because it's going to go higher with
Right,
every play.
and I bet it will.
You get 10 plays
So good.
deep, it's your number 1.
I've only played this 4 times total. I think.
So it should be number 6.
4 times total. And I love the shift system. The game is great in and of itself, but the shift system that also adds new things to the loser of the prior round.
It self-balances itself
Exactly.
based on who just
so
won
cool.
or lost.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
it just keeps things engaging and interesting, and rules change as you move along. You unlock new abilities and powers,
Yep.
and it's just an excellent hidden movement deduction game all at the same time.
That plays at 2 people.
That's our favorite player count. I think 3 would be great too. I honestly think any more than that you might not be so hot with, but it's so good, and it just take away the shift system. I don't care. The way that the hidden movement works with your ability to do the leaps and the shark or the dolphin and stuff
Yep.
like that. The special powers are just so unique and interesting,
game.
and it just plays so incredibly well. It's easily my favorite hidden movement game
Yep.
that I've ever played.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I believe... So I had it on my best of 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and my gut check says that it's the best game of the year. That's my gut check right
It's
now.
certainly on the list.
I
It's
believe
certainly
by
my
the
top
time
5.
by the time we get 6 down and I'm doing my top 10, there's a strong chance it's in the top 5.
Really?
We'll
Oh
see.
yeah.
It's
It's great.
excellent.
It's amazing.
Excellent.
Where are we? Number 8?
Number 8 for me is a game over on Max's side. If he can pull it out
Oh,
for me,
no.
it's by. You okay?
Yeah, what is it?
Fabled Nexus,
Who's that?
Spirit Island.
What? I don't know who Fabled Nexus, which I should if they make Spirit Island because it's an excellent game.
Fabled Nexus. It's greater than games that make Spirit Island.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
greater
am I
than
really?
games.
Who's Fabled Nexus?
I don't know why. I
It's
wrote
definitely
down.
greater than games.
Listen,
Listen, a
if
table
no
knife.
one started
Didn't
the
they
company,
just get bought out?
greater than?
Yeah, maybe it just changed because they just got bought out. I think
I checked it on BGG.
it may have just changed hands. I don't know. Greater than games is who I know.
If
it from.
Fabled Nexus doesn't exist, now's your chance to start a great company.
It sounds so cool.
It sounds
right?
great. It sounds fantastic. It's got to be a name. Tell me about Spirit Island.
Anyway, Spirit Island is a fully cooperative game where you lose 90% of the time.
Oh.
So if you don't like losing, be good at it. But either way,
Do better.
There are colonists that are trying to take over an island, essentially, and they're killing the island. And you play spirits on this island, trying to boot them out. And it's fully asymmetric.
Yes,
all of the
extremely.
spirits play completely different, which is why I love this game. You'll notice a lot of my top 10 has a lot of asymmetry. But it's just one of the best times I've had playing a co-op game, and it's honestly how you and I became really good friends.
Yeah.
Because you invited me over, me,
It was one of the
Jash,
first games we played in Warren, right?
and you and Warren, and we all played, and I think we lost, but then we played it again, and
and we
won.
figured it out, right?
And it was great. Like that experience was a blast, and the components incredible. The colors incredible. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do you like this game?
I absolutely adore this game. I just got the promo expansion pack for it,
Yeah.
and I'm working on deluxifying mine.
Excellent.
I have stones, like gemstones,
Oh,
as
wow.
the markers for the different spirit locations.
That's
and stuff.
awesome.
We're
That's
going
awesome.
we're going full out on Spirit Island.
Excellent game.
It is such a great
man.
such a great card hand management system.
So
and the
thematic,
asymmetry
too.
is blown wide open.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. I'm
Love-
gonna
love
pass
that
this
game.
over to you.
Yeah, you can pass that back to me. Spoiler
No
alert.
reason. No reason.
No reason at all.
8, my friend.
Number 8 is a game you've never heard of, Jesse. I didn't feel like getting the main box out, and this is Kingdom Death Monster.
So there's a policy here on Quackalope that says any list video, 2-player, best family games, biggest
Best family
disappointments
games.
of the year.
has to have this on it.
Kingdom Death is on those lists, and these boys are following right along.
Well, me at least,
Yeah.
because he has only
Well,
ever
he
played the prologue one time. We've never
True.
made it past that with him. But this is a campaign settlement building game in which you are fighting the goriest, darkest monsters, trying to build up your settlement with stronger and stronger people and have children and stop the butcher and the plagues, and there's so many things coming at you left and right.
Yep.
It's very difficult. It's very thematic. It's pretty luck-based and swingy, but it works incredibly well. If it was strictly strategy, it'd be too easy to math out. Like, it needs that constant threat of a bad dice roll is what makes Kingdom Death so
The
scary.
highs and lows tell a story
Incredible.
that no other game does.
Yes, absolutely. You can literally crit and tear a lion's ballsack off.
Yeah.
Or it can do the same to you, basically,
That's
and you're
also
just
possible.
totally dead.
No, it's entirely, you cannot be able to reproduce in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Or your parents can die.
We just,
like,
in our
it's
campaign,
nuts.
we just had someone that got the disorder that they were afraid of the darkness. So they were going to be forced retired when they got home.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got 2 eye injuries, resulting in them being blind.
And now they're really afraid of the
no.
darkness.
Meaning that they became terrified of the darkness and then proceeded to become perpetually trapped in darkness for the rest of their existence, which didn't last long because they died a few turns later
Yeah,
from
I would
bleeding,
expect
from
that.
bleeding out to the butcher.
I do think it's
Yikes.
important to caveat this pick with the fact that I've not played this game in literally over a year. And I think
Well,
it
the
is
world
one of
quit.
those... That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I think it's one of those games that is best left set up under a board game table
it's almost gotta
in
be.
an exclusive room dedicated to this game, which is how I had it at one point
Yeah.
in time. I can't leave it out on this table because it's not coverable and I have animals.
Well, now you're doing Tablenauts stuff as
That's
well.
accurate, too.
Doing content almost ruins your opportunity to play
campaign games. It does. It really does. And this deserves a spot on your
Wow,
table.
that's true.
But it really is hard to get to the table. It's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
It's a lot of upkeep. The apps make it way better and easier to handle. But such a good game that, despite not playing it for a year and a half, must remain in my top 10.
Cool. Cool.
All right, number 7.
Let's do it.
7 is a very simple game.
Do you have them just all memorized?
Yeah.
I love that about you.
Thank you. This is by, well, I sometimes get the company wrong. I make up a company. This one's by...
Don't take away. Hey, accept that compliment.
Pip Pip Cheerio Games. I'm just kidding. This is...
Just take a real moment.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
Thank you.
I am very impressed that you have everything memorized.
I have a list.
Good for you, man.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
I stand by my pick.
Let's continue. Yep.
This is by Next Move, which got bought out by Plan B, which got bought out by Asmodee Games. Named Azul. You've probably heard of it before. If not, I don't know where you are.
Swallows all.
Yeah,
basically.
Who just got bought out by a video game company?
Did they really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's changing hands like wildfire. It's going nuts right now.
Anyway, this is a game that keeps getting reiterated by multiple different kinds, but I still think this is my favorite.
You got a preference to just the base version?
Yeah. I think its simplicity is what draws me to it. It's a game that I've played, 50, 60 times with my wife, and she loves it as well. The clackiness of those tiles is just fantastic, but I think the real draw is again, that simplicity and how easy it is to just throw on the table, get it all set up, and be playing, and the strategy is pretty much the same every single time. So I love it. It's probably the simplest game I have on my top 10. Yeah, definitely is. And fantastic. If you're looking for a light game,
but it can be very mean too.
It's very mean. Oh my gosh! If you like to also block your friend to where they have to pick up 7 tiles to put on the bottom row that all count against them at the end of their turn, this is a game for you.
You mentioned with your wife. What's your favorite player count here?
I really like 2 because I'm able to see ahead of time.
It's definitely the meanest player count too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, it really is.
It's the highest strategy, meanest.
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can plan
Azul's
your
great.
turns out so much more at 2-player count.
What are you thinking?
Mine is simpler than Doolin's simplest one, and this is my favorite party game of all time, which is Monicers.
Never played it.
Have you ever played Time's Up?
No.
Okay, because they're kind of the same thing.
You know what I don't like?
What?
Party games.
Yeah, well, see, that's the difference between
Tell me
me and
about
you.
it. You tell me about
Monikers is a game that sets the scene so well at a party, right? Like, you don't know these people that well. Or say you do. It doesn't really matter. And that's the thing with this, is it can kind of be a skeleton key for any party scenario. Okay. Because the way that this game plays is it ramps up. In the first scenario, you've got a deck of cards, and essentially you're trying to get your teammate to guess the word on the card. The first round, you can say whatever you want. Maybe the clue is
I love hot
soup
potatoes
Nazi.
and sassafras during the summer June.
Exactly, yeah, but that wouldn't get any clues. Maybe the word is like soup Nazi, and you can say, oh, the Seinfeld episode where Kramer, blah, blah, blah. I've never seen Seinfeld, so maybe I just butchered that. Get them to say it.
Yep.
The second round, you may only use one word. The third round, you may only use charades, but it's the same cards every round, so you're becoming familiar with these cards as it goes on.
Yeah.
My favorite thing...
I think I have played this.
So good, and it eases people into that charades category. If you're not normally used to charades, Monikers or Time's Up does an excellent job of getting you ready for it.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about this game is lasting memories that it can create. Literally, playing this game 6 months ago, I could play this a year from now with the same people that I played it with 6 months ago and do this, and they would know exactly what that clue is. Just because it came up multiple times through our playthrough.
What was that clue?
Morgan Freeman. This is now Morgan Freeman.
I was thinking...
There's also Earl
Vincent
Grey
Dutray.
Jones and James Earl Jones. There's just so many hidden references and
It creates
inside jokes. Exactly.
Yeah,
that
that's
allow
fun.
you to
Yeah.
create and hold memories for ages.
I'd love to be a part of one day.
Yeah, me too. Definitely my favorite party game.
It was almost like 2 great friends of his. Don't seem to know what that means.
Anyway.
You know what I'll always remember?
What?
This being the first indication that we weren't as close to Max as I thought we were. So when you and I do this now
This is
together,
just the first indication of that?
Inside joke.
Ooh, sorry.
Look,
Wow.
Moniker's just created an inside joke.
It's doing its
You're
job.
playing it.
Number
Wasn't even
6.
trying to do that.
Number 6.
Number 6 is a game by Pandasaurus Games, right? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
Tammany Hall, which is a game I didn't play until this year, and it's just catapulted itself.
Did you play this with me?
I did not.
No.
Or did you
I
play it
played
with
it
me
with
and
you.
then you taught it to him?
I did.
You bought
Oh.
it.
Yep.
Now I have a copy too
This.
at my house.
This is your copy, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I bought it off of you.
This is such a good game.
It is
Oh, it's
incredible.
amazing.
Love
Such a good game.
horrible theme. I mean, it's all about
I think you loved it so much. I
Yeah.
was willing to
part with it. Yeah, I was like, I need your copy. Like, if you don't sell it to me, I will buy one, but I want to take it home today. And you allowed that to happen.
It's so good, though. Like, I mean,
great.
Look
Talk about it.
Look at the back of this map. I can't even show you guys, really, because it's so tiny.
Talk about it. Tell me about it.
The art on this game is phenomenal. I love the art direction that they took. But also, one of my favorite mechanics that I've found in a game is when there's like the hidden reveal of your resources. And so like in this game, you're trying to steal votes to get elected mayor at the end of whatever all the precincts are casting their votes. And so you're trying to win each of the
election.
Yeah. If in case you aren't familiar. But either way, you have little influence cubes that you put that represent different groups of people that you have influence over. And then when we get to that section of the map and their vote is needed to be cast, we take a little bit of our influence cubes we've been collecting and hold them out in our hand. And then all of a sudden, all of us reveal at the same time what influence cubes we have. They get added to the vote, and whoever has the highest vote wins that precinct. Whoever has the most precincts becomes mayor that round until the next election cycle happens.
And mayor starts determining various powers that they
Yes,
have.
which is another amazing
And
part of this
everyone
game.
gets a power,
Except the mayor.
but they're not all quite what you'd want.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And the mayor...
Good, though.
Yeah. Oh man. But the mayor itself is just kind of like it's what you said about mind management. It's self adjusting, I guess, where the people who are in last can help
Get that special power.
He gives them
Yeah,
position in the city that lets them do better next round and maybe take his power. But for a round, he got all the points.
Right.
Yeah. But my favorite thing that reveal, because there's so much strategy where I'm like looking at you. I'm like, oh, he wants that, and he knows I have plenty of resources. I could take it from him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna act like I put all of them in my hand.
Cool.
I'm gonna act like I want it. And then
Thank
he
you.
uses all of
And
his, and I win the next
and that
7.
feels good. I love
and
it.
it's the best. But Tammany Hall, fantastic
I love
game.
it. Number 3.
Number 3.
What?
Number 6.
Yeah.
Now, I want to preface this one with I'm aware there is probably some recency bias here. And I'm very curious to see where this sits. But
listen,
it had to join. It had to join.
best 2021 games. The very first one on my list was a game I'd played the day before, like
Really?
6 times in a
Really?
row. Recency bias is a thing. I don't care.
I don't either. I
Because
don't
if
either,
it's
which
so
is why
good,
it's here.
it overwhelms other things.
I've played this game twice.
Okay.
In the past week.
Perfect.
And it's in my top 10
I'm
of all
so
time.
curious. Oh, this
And
isn't
it's
recency bias. This game has
Orleans.
existed for so long, and
It
it's
has.
so good.
But I've never played it until this week.
Tell me about
and
it.
I fell in love.
Tell me about
Orleans is a bag builder worker placement game in which you're trying to move up different various tracks so you can acquire different resources or victory points or multipliers, whatever it may be. And the thing with this game is there is a small shared board that gives you that sense of fighting, worker placement. I want this position.
Resources
I want
that
this
are
thing.
limited.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the big board in which there's not really much fighting other than for those multiplier citizens. You're moving up the tracks on the big board, you're acquiring different foods and goods as you travel along the map, and then you're fighting over the shared resources in the trade and intrigue board.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it doesn't lock you out of any strategy, ever. You can do whatever you want. And the 2 times that I've played this game, I've played it very differently every time. I saw varied success from both of them. One did not feel busted strong, and one did not feel absolutely weak. I felt like I could have won with either of those strategies. And it made me feel free, that I could do what I wanted. Do I want to get monks? Do I want to go to the university? Do I want all the multipliers? I could just move around the map and collect goods if I wanted to. That's a strategy that you can win with. And I love how open it felt. And it was just, I'm already trying to deluxify it. I'm already gushing about it. It's so good.
It sets the baseline for Euro games that feel like there's multiple paths to victory and really feel that way.
Really mean it.
There's
yeah.
a lot of Euro games that give you the impression of multiple paths or require you to diversify, which really means do about the same thing each time.
Right.
This one, everything feels good to do, and depending on what you draw out of your bag and how you adapt, everything's viable.
It's just so fun, man. It's so good.
It's a
I
great
fell
one to have on
in
your
love
list.
immediately.
It's a great one to have on your list.
And I don't think the art is all that bad.
No, I like
There's
it.
some complaints,
Yeah,
but
it's
it's like
fine.
a nice medieval cartoon.
No, I think
dig
it's
it.
fine. I think it's fine.
He's
Lucille?
trying really hard to get me to play. I've never played it.
You gotta
actually.
play it. But
Dude, it's
anyway.
so good.
My number 5. I'm gonna paint a picture for
You
you.
don't have it?
No, I
I
don't.
do love
But I'm
pictures.
gonna paint a picture for you. So close your eyes.
Okay.
Imagine for
That
yourself.
doesn't do anything for me.
Okay,
He is
I'm not talking to you.
advantageous.
I'm not talking to you. But you can try.
I'll try.
Imagine for yourself that you and a group of buddies who serve this king. And this
friends
king is
in this?
amazing. He's a great ruler over this amazing kingship.
Okay.
And the one thing he lacks is a wife. He desperately wants to find a wife who will love him. His died, and it was just really, really tragic. And he meets this witch.
I feel nothing.
Okay.
Witch who's posing as this really sweet lady. And
She's beautiful.
oh man, but she puts him under a spell. And they are to be married.
What is this game?
They're to be married, and we know that she's bad.
Yeah.
We know that she's bad. We want to serve and protect our king.
Of course I do.
But this witch is ahead of us.
For the king.
So she casts a spell on all of us, turning us into mice.
Oh, you got there. Finally, you got there.
This game starts right there, where you and your
Is
buddies are breaking out of a dungeon. Actually, no, she doesn't.
Is this Mice and Mystics?
It is. I completely butchered
never
the.
played.
I haven't either.
But
I got
butchered
there
the
with
beginning.
the mice reference.
He butchered it all, apparently.
She
but we
throws
got
you in the
mice reference.
dungeon. The
Yeah.
wizard actually turns
Okay.
you all into mice. That's that's completely.
I hear what happens
messed it
with
up.
the king.
Either way, you have to find out through a campaign
Okay.
where you and your buddies will play these mice versions of rogues.
Coming
and-
from Plaid Hat Games.
Yes.
One of their earlier titles,
Earliest,
followed up
pretty
by
much.
a cycle of,
He's in love
of famed
with
wines.
Plaid
Like,
Hat.
like
Plaid
you
Hat
got
right now.
Stuffed
I'm in
Fables.
love with them right
you
now. Jerry
got you
Hawthorne.
got Forgotten Waters.
Aftermath,
You got what's the new one that's coming out right now?
Familiar Tales.
Familiar
yeah.
Tales. Why is Mice and Mystics? Mice and
Because I've not played the others yet.
here. Tell me about what you love about it.
I sincerely, it makes me feel like I'm in one of those like Disney Pixar films,
Yeah.
and I'm with my friends, and it's cute. Like the little miniatures are just awesome. But genuinely, it's a great dungeon crawler. It's a really fun time with some really great mechanics, like the cheese wheel. I love, and I just think it's simple.
loves the cheese
Gotta
It's
love
great.
the cheese wheel.
Yeah. But anyway, Mice and Mystics, Plaid Hat Games. Please check it out if you are at all interested in anything I just tried to sell.
I've got a
you
copy.
on
I'm
the
super
campaign.
excited about it. I haven't been able to dive in though. For me, it reminds me of
Bring
Redwall.
it here.
Yeah, play with you.
I'll play with you.
Oh, Redwall for sure.
And we'll pretend to be mice.
Yeah, Redwall for sure.
Dude, I'm getting into like costumes. I'll dress up like a mice for you.
He will. He will.
I would.
I'm not. This sounds like a good day.
If you wanna help the costume fund, there's a Patreon.
What's on your list?
I don't have my number 5 here, and I called it. I did own this, and I got rid of it.
What would you?
He gets rid of everything.
All right. First off,
Welcome to Tablenauts, where I call things that I love.
I mean,
It's true.
I've seen a series of videos that are very tragic where you put out a video that says, I just got rid of my favorite game. And then like a week later, you're like, I did it again.
That's really accurate.
I'm never buying games again.
ABC.
I just backed 7 Kickstarters.
Half the time,
always be Cullen.
Yeah. Half
got
the time.
that.
Nice!
We got that.
Half
Tell
the
me
time
about
he
it.
calls
What did
and
you
I
just
buy.
get rid of? What's your number 5 that you got rid of?
Twilight Imperium 4th edition. I bought this game. I played someone else's copy.
Okay.
I bought my own
Deluxe
copy.
effect.
Walked home and bought it.
sleeved, with the playmat,
You touched it.
with fleet
Oh
stands.
my gosh.
Culled it before I ever played my own copy.
No, I mean, I feel like that happens more than not. I'm gonna tell you a little secret
Tell me a
about
secret.
myself.
Yeah.
So first off, Space Cats Peace Curdles,
Space Cats Peace Turtles, yep.
biggest TI.
They're awesome.
Oh, they're awesome.
Don't believe they own a copy of the game.
Really? Because
Uh-huh.
they do TTS stuff so much?
Yeah.
Wow.
And myself,
Correct us if we're wrong.
Myself, I owned a copy, was taught by a friend with the playmat, played that copy, left it at his house, called it once, and now I own another copy.
Do you really?
And I really want to get the expansion,
I do too.
and I still haven't opened or played it yet again.
It's
tell me
so
about it. Tell me about
good.
it.
It's one of my favorite experience games. It's a day. I mean,
It is.
it's not
It's a full
as
day.
much of a
It's a good
commitment
day,
as
though.
some people say.
It's a good day.
We finished our 5-player game in under 6 hours, which I was very impressed with.
Okay.
I thought that was perfectly fine. You know, if it was inching towards the 12-hour mark, like I'd have to find out if I'm still about
I
this. life.
usually hear 6 to 8,
that would be fine with me.
but if it's a hard teach, you got wiggle room
we
with
didn't
bad
teach
players.
and play with all new players at 5, but it's such a good time, and it's I love negotiation, community-driven games
That's the
where
game.
a lot of the game relies on the player group.
Yeah.
Things like Cosmic Encounter, things like Moonrakers, where who you're playing with really makes a difference,
Yeah.
and how much they lean into it and get excited about it. So if that negotiation, discussion, politics, changing laws isn't for you, you should probably play Eclipse or something else more Euro-y. But Twilight Imperium does an excellent job of combining some Euro mechanics, building up your fleet, diversifying your pool of abilities based off the cards that you choose, the different secret objectives and public objectives that you can go after, and it's only a race to 10 points. And then there's the planet in the center of the map that is just so key that gets you a victory point every turn if you want, but it's hard to hold, and every faction plays drastically different. Some want to turtle up, some want to trade with everybody, some want to go full military. It's just so much fun, and I loved every second about it, despite it being 6 hours.
The mechanics are probably 2 hours of the game.
Right.
And the negotiations, 2.5.
I'd agree, yeah, it's 50%.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which does make it, if you're that type of game, if that's your genre,
Right.
it is the grail game for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved every second of it.
Number 5,
But
I'm curious.
it's very hard to play.
I'm curious what's down his list. You've got some heavy hitters out of the top.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
it. Dylan, you're doing all right. What do you got?
Listen, I love what I love.
What do you got for
Number
me?
4 for me.
I like that. I like that phrase.
I love what I love,
Listen, listen, bro. I love what I love.
Yeah.
It's Cthulhu Death May Die.
Oh, it's so good.
By Simon Games. One of the better games I've ever played, I think.
Well, I would hope if it's in your top 5.
But in terms of like, yeah, obviously, man, I'm brain dead now.
Certainly one of the better games.
certainly
yeah,
one of my
certainly
favorites. This is a top 10 list.
I mean, if I was gonna do a top 10, I'd probably put it on there.
Good games, yeah.
Probably, like,
If I had another video,
This is a contender for
that
my
was like-
number 4 spot.
yeah, it could be number 3 or 5, but I think 4 is
Yeah.
fair. If I were to make another video,
Tell me about
it'd be number
Cthulhu.
4.
Tell me about
So this is a dungeon crawler, kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
The map is pre-built.
No, I'll give you straight dungeon crawler.
Yeah, okay.
The map's pre-built, but you're still part of the nature of a dungeon crawl as opposed to a showdown. Showdown, you're on a fixed map with terrain and elements, and you're still using the similar mechanics.
Yeah.
Dungeon crawl, you're exploring and revealing.
Yeah.
And this does that, for
Definitely. And you play through scenarios. You can really go with whichever one you want, but it does recommend going 1 through 6 or whatever.
Yep.
And you pick your boss
Your
that
elder
you
one.
throw in there, and that changes everything as well. There's Haster and I think Cthulhu in the base game.
box, yep. Mhm.
Yeah, and they are hard, and that's part of the reason why I love this game is that it does bosses
Doesn't pull punches.
extremely well.
Yeah.
And it does everything else pretty well. Like the combat, super fun. The running around the map and fighting the little minions, great. The leveling up system, awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
So fun.
Yeah.
Because as you're getting more insane and approaching death, you're getting better. But the way the bosses work and how you're fighting against them being summoned, and then how you fight them once they're summoned is just incredible. I love everything about that. So that's my favorite thing.
If I play this more, it's a serious contender for my top 10.
Yeah.
And I don't own this because Max has basically everything for
Okay.
it. And
I
why
do
would
own
I?
everything.
You got the
for
Big
it.
Daddy?
No.
Oh.
Not Big Daddy, not Scarlet. Those are the only 2 things I'm missing.
What is Scarlet?
That was the Kickstarter exclusive
Character. One
I
character.
don't own Scarlet.
He owns like
I kind of want a
40.
Scarlet.
I own the Unspeakable box and Season 2.
You got most of the stuff.
Yeah, most
Yeah,
of the stuff.
so
got
is
everything.
Yeah, absolutely. My number 4 is a game we've already talked about, but I have more to say.
Ooh.
And that is Spirit Island by, who was it doing?
Fabled Nexus.
Fabled, Greater Than Games.
Fabled Nexus Games.
I don't want to mull over what was already said, because it is an incredible game.
Well, just remind me what was already said so that I can
Great
remember what
co-op
we're not
game,
going to mull
hard to
over.
play,
Yeah.
or hard to win,
Yeah,
variable
lose
player
over
powers,
time.
whatever.
Great card stuff, I think I remember.
It does
Thanks
such
for that refresher.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It does such a good job at making an engaging cooperative game that you're always at the threat of losing.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire game, I feel
No,
like
for real.
it is hopeless.
Even when you win.
And then all of the sudden, you're thinking, you're looking at your hand, you're like, wait, we have this, we can win. And it's just a light switch moment where 90% of the game you thought all was hopeless, you thought all was lost, and then all of a sudden you take this and you win because it's got such a power ramp. As you get more major powers, as you instill more fear into the colonists, as your objectives to winning get easier because you don't need to get rid of the cities, the towns, and the people, just the towns and the people, or just the people as the fear gets higher. And there's so many spirits in this game, in the Branch and Claw, in the Promo Pack 1, Promo Pack 2, and the Jagged Earth thing. There's so much variability. One of my favorite things about this game is our friend Jash, who is a part of Tablenauts but moved to Japan. He loves this game.
Which honestly is pretty badass.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
He loves this game. he has only ever played and insists that he will only ever play Ocean's Hungry Grasp.
Only as one character?
Only. He loves it.
He's just perfecting Ocean's Hungry Grasp?
It's true.
Loves it.
Yeah?
And just only wants to play that.
So wait, did he try other things to
No, he
realize?
started with Oceans and never tried anything else.
Here's the thing, though. If you play with him as Oceans, your chances of winning
It's
skyrocket.
great. It's great. And I'm the kind of person...
I don't know if I respect him for just sticking
Probably
to what he
not. Probably
loves
not.
and not risking ruining the game by
Right.
doing anything else.
Right.
Because I've done that with games. I've added too much and burnt myself on it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I also feel like there's more for him to explore.
I know
because
there's a ton for him
I hear
to
what you're
explore.
saying.
I'm the kind of guy
So am I.
that plays a new spirit every single
I
time.
love it.
I want to
Absolutely.
cycle through and experience what the game has
I want to touch
offer.
as many bodies as I can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the real cool things, that's just a minor note that I think they took extra care into producing with this game, is I do think it's really interesting how all the bad components in the game are made of
Plastics.
plastic and all the good components in the game are made of
Or
wood and
natural
cardboard,
resources.
recycled
Yeah.
things. I just think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Just something to touch on as we finish off our discussion on Spirit Island.
Love it. I mean, it's such a good game. Only merge that we have so far in both of you,
So far,
which is cool, which
Yeah.
I find interesting.
It will not be the last.
it will not be the last.
Number 3.
Number 3 is a game that used to be my number 1.
Okay.
It's gotten dethroned twice already.
Oh, yeah.
In the last 7 months. This is Zombicide Black Plague. It's not here because it's a lot. And
It is
it's
a
at
lot.
my house.
It is a lot. Are you excited for Marvel?
I am. As much as I can be, because I don't know a whole lot about how the gameplay will be, and it's not a straight Zombicide game, right? It's Zombicide adjacent Marvel zombies. I think
It is a Zombicide game.
Yeah.
It is Marvel Zombies, and here's what I'll say. Based on what I've experienced so far, and we have 2 gameplays under our belt, and I might be able to sneak you into one if you're interested.
Yes.
It is the closest thing to a callback to what the fans have been asking for from Black Plague yet.
You just made his day, man. You just made his night.
Okay, cool.
Tell me about Black Plague. Tell me about Zombicide. Tell me about Black Plague.
This was I picked the greatest game to almost ever start my collection with. It was one of my earliest games. I went all in on. Like
You did a Kickstarter back?
No, but I bought
You
everything.
picked it up afterwards?
I bought everything.
Oh, I've been there.
And
I found something I loved.
Man.
Yeah.
and I played it once. Base game was like this is incredible, and it reminded me of the feeling I got because
Left 4 Dead or something like that? Yeah.
playing video games with my
I thought he was gonna say
dad.
you like walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
It was that good.
Hand in hand, fighting zombies as we walked down.
But it was nostalgic.
Absolutely. The feeling of fighting through waves of zombies to get to that safe zone at the end was something me and my dad did forever with Left 4 Dead.
That's
But
cool.
this game, took that and then gave it a Lord of the Rings, RPG feel. Where I could be a wizard, or I could be a ranger, or I could be whatever. And the game has this ramping up feel that just makes you feel as a group so powerful. And at the beginning, you'll see, we're weak. We can't do anything. We can kill maybe one zombie. And we're like looking at
Maybe.
as you flip over these cards, because once you get into the red, it's going to get bad. And you're just thinking, there's no way we get out of this. There's no way we get out of this. And then you find that one weapon. And you're like, you pull it out, you read it, and you're like, wait, there's no way that happens. Then you put it on your card, and you just wait. And you see a group of zombies come towards you and your friends, and you're just like, step back, guys.
I got this.
And you cast a fireball that explodes everything, and everyone's like, whoa, like, you have that? And then everyone gets that. And then by the end of the game, there's been, I've played this countless times with new people, and at the beginning, you can tell that they're kind of like reserved about it.
That was
but
me.
by the end, you have to tell them, "Hey, you have enough turns to where you could escape this turn.
Finish the game.
Why are you
Why are you
still
going
staying
back
there?
into the fight?
Stop!
And they're like,
we're leaving."
But I just got,
Dude,
I
felt like
just
God.
got a broadsword, and I just got a Molotov,
And you're like 3 hours into this game.
and there's an abomination I could kill.
I could kill everything on this map if you let me just stay a little bit longer.
In one of the Marvel
man.
gameplays, we 100%, we had 2 different moments where they're in Zombicide, where someone in the party went, I know what the right thing to do is.
But this is the fun thing to
But
do.
we're gonna go, and it makes for great moments. I don't know of another game that incentivizes that type of interaction to the same degree.
And the ramping up is the best part.
The scaling, everything grows with you. You get more powerful. The board gets more crowded. You start popping zombies. Yeah.
Oh man, and it becomes this game of, man, I was weak. Now I'm the biggest and baddest on the board. There was Abominations. Now I'm the Abomination.
And the most interesting thing about it, for me, the most compelling thing about it is that it's been dethroned twice since the last time you did your top 10.
It's true.
Yeah.
2 and 1.
Yeah.
I'm so curious.
I've only played Zombicide Black Plague one time. Loved it, though.
All right.
Loved it.
Number 7.
Another crossover at number 3
More merging stuff.
is Cthulhu Death May Die.
So why is this slightly higher for you than it is for Dueland?
I prefer this to Zombicide. Okay. We have a video in which we've made some extensive comparisons to the two.
I think they're fair to compare, and there's good arguments. So go check out that video to see the play this not that take on.
Right, they're not the same in any way, shape, or form. I prefer the scenario-driven, episodic gameplay that Cthulhu Death May Die provides. They're very similar in ramping, though in Death May Die it's your person ramping because they're going insane and getting more powers and abilities. In Zombicide, it's more item-based. As you're discovering the powerful loot and the vault chests and whatnot, you're getting greater and greater and stronger. In this game, I just really like the episodic. I've played this game 12 times. I've played scenarios 1, 2, and 3 11 of those times. And I've played episode 4 once. 12 times, and I've only played 4 episodes. And I've won them multiple times.
Just enjoy them.
I just enjoy them and keep going back and continue to introduce it to new people. And so I want to play scenarios I'm familiar with so I can help them out. And certain characters have a aura around them. Yeah. Rasputin in this game has an aura around him. He is legend in my play groups that I've played with. He goes through and just arcane magic and brawling destroys entire rooms. It's just so fun. And I've seen complaints about the board tiles, about how nothing fits on them. I love that. Yeah, I lean into that. If I look at a tiny board tile and Cthulhu's there, and we've got 3 investigators out of it, and 8 cultists, and the son of Cthulhu, whatever his name is, the Star Spawn, that's hilarious to me.
You just feel like they're all
a joke,
in a
right?
room. Yeah,
it's so fun, and I do think the theme. I like cosmic horror. I don't necessarily have a connection to Cthulhu or Lovecraft, but I just like the unknown, the dark, the gritty. It's the same reason why Kingdom Death Monster appeals to me.
Sure.
And I think this game just does the
story, gazing into my eyes.
Absolutely. The dark and the gritty. The combining forces of the episode and the Elder One. Because you literally take a deck for each of them, mush them together, and it's going to be different no matter what Elder One or episode you choose. Just an excellent, excellent dungeon crawl, ramping of power game. I like how there's more objectives in this.
I love that it's on both your lists. I just now, since between doing my top 10, I got a full pledge of Cthulhu, big guy and all. So I'm now stumbling into this.
Right.
I love it. I think I need more depth. I need more plays to know where it fits.
Play with dice.
Yeah.
But I need to come back and play with you guys.
Are
we on 2?
We're on 2.
You're gonna love number 1.
Am I?
And it's a shared number 1. Yeah, so, we'll have to wait and talk about it. Yeah.
Boys, are we having a moment?
We'll see.
I love this.
Anyway, number 2 is a game by Floodgate Games.
Based off of the top of your list, the only thing that would have made me guess towards this would have been Azul so far. Mm-hmm. Really cool that this is here.
Yeah.
Great game.
Oh, amazing.
Go ahead and tell me about it.
So, Sagrada is this dice placement, dice drafting game where everybody has a different player board. You select what you want and kind of slide it into this awesome little cathedral-looking player board.
Nook and cranny.
Yeah. And as you go, you're selecting dice from a pool that somebody has gone and rolled and placing it on your board with some basic restrictions, but it's basically you don't have any colors or numbers similar next to each other. And based on cards that are drawn and played each time, making the game different each time, you're going for maybe a row that's completely different in color, or a column that is completely different in number, or specifically for 5s and 6s and 1s and 2s. And I just love the beauty of this game. I love the thinkiness of this game and how well it just changes every single time I play it. I think that for it to be number 2, I needed the 5 to 6 player expansion, which allows to add in
Which
personal.
isn't just 5 or 6 players.
No,
expansion.
no.
Blew my
It
mind.
adds
What
so
a
much more.
terrible naming
There's some
convention.
great integration in that.
Absolutely.
I know. I didn't buy it because I was like, I don't need to play this with 5 or 6.
I bought
You
it
need the
specifically
expansion.
because my play group of my whole family loves this game, and I wanted to be able to play where all 6 of us could play at the same time, and learned, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is way better than just...
It adds in some great integration.
Yeah, and the personal die pools that you
Yeah.
can have in it, oh man, amazing. But either way, this is my favorite of any drafting game I've ever played, and that's one of my favorite mechanics. And there was a moment in a stream recently when I was ranking 172 games, where it was this or Black Plague, and he goes, well, it has to be Black Plague. And I looked at it and I go, I don't know anymore. The joy I get from this game is just... and I play it every day.
It has an app,
Literally
right?
every single day. I discovered this game in March. I've played it 92 times since.
That's
I love that.
incredible.
It is incredible.
I want to talk briefly about how when we first played this game,
Yeah.
you're a lover of Azul. Obviously, it was in your top 10.
Oh, man.
I played this game and I was like, this is better than Azul, in my opinion.
Okay.
And Doolin was like, nah,
Nah.
no,
Nah,
it's
no
not.
way, no way.
And then here it is, ascending to all its glory ahead of
Number
Azul.
2.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It is a great
One thing
game.
you didn't
Beautiful.
mention, as specifically, one of the things I love about it is that around the table, you can have variable levels of difficulty for variable skills.
Oh, I love
and
that.
abilities.
Yeah.
So your family could be playing beginner or intermediate, and you playing 90-something times. You
Oh,
can still
absolutely.
have a good game with them, because you take one of those expert cards, give yourself some extra challenges, and you're right there in the mix.
Absolutely.
And all you have to know is how to self-balance a little bit, and it does such a good job at that.
Oh, man. It's great.
Yeah.
It is an awesome,
Such a good...
awesome game.
I love seeing it number 2, man. I love
Oh, boy. Ugh.
Number
My
2.
number 2 game of all time is Gloomhaven.
that. I got an important question.
Please.
You buying the minis?
I don't think so. There's a lot of minis, and I think it's interesting.
It's gonna be
So much-
120 different SKUs, something like maybe 1,000 miniatures.
Yeah. I mean, I'll look at it, but I like the full art
I was just
standees.
curious.
I don't think I have the space for the minis. Moving on to
Give
the
me,
game.
give me the depth on Gloomhaven.
So Gloomhaven is a game that, just like Kingdom Death, I actually haven't played in about a year and a half. I
Makes sense.
played this
He's played a
game
lot of this.
set up in that room over there on a table, shut the door. I played this 3 nights a week
Solo,
for
multiplayer?
with Eric.
With Eric.
I played this
Cool.
3 nights a week
Hey, Eric.
for months.
He's there, he just won't say hi.
I absolutely loved this game. Now, we haven't completed it. We just eventually fell off and never went back to it. But it was one of my first and best gaming experiences. Yes, this was one of my first. New into the hobby, I called up my local game store. I was like, you have Gloomhaven? It's $125. I'll be there. I was just so into it.
And that was probably when it was not as available.
Yeah, that was when it was first coming out.
Because
Hard
there
to
was
get
a
hold
season
of.
where this was like
Yes.
the print hadn't come in.
And to me, this is everything I love about video games. On the table, long campaign story, unlocks, character progression.
Yep.
The fact that I can retire my character and get a brand new character out of a blind box that I've never seen before is just exciting and enticing.
And
to
go
me.
through the same level up and experience.
Yeah.
And
I love the card decisions. Do I choose this at level 2? Do I go back and take this at level 2? Then when you're playing, the way that the card play just works out as initiative and top and bottom and basic actions that you can do if you want, it's as close to you can get as a dungeon crawl full-on strategy game. There's not a lot of luck in this game beyond your modifier cards.
it's like a Euro dungeon crawl in a
Yeah,
lot of
it
ways.
really is, and it meshes those so incredibly well. It's just thematic. I love the story. I love the treasure. I love everything there is to be about this game.
So the world agrees with you, for one. I mean, number one
Sure.
on BGG.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
It's true.
Everyone loves this. You're not going in on the minis,
Probably not. No.
which I think is fair.
Yeah.
I think it's for a certain audience and not for a certain audience, and not all those people mesh on Gloomhaven. What about Frosthaven? Are you backed on that?
I'm backed on it.
Okay.
100%.
You going to be purposeful at getting it to the table?
I want to be.
Okay.
I want to be. It's kind of a resolution for both Doolin and I moving forward in 2022 to play some sort of campaign games. We've touched that a channel makes that quite
Sure.
difficult.
It does.
But we have Clank, we
But
have
a
Betrayal,
partner,
blah,
but
blah,
a
blah.
partner makes that much easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I do want to be mindful and purposeful in playing through Frosthaven because Gloomhaven is one of my best gaming experiences of all time.
Do you think you're ever dipping back into, or is this just going to be nostalgia for you now? Has this retired since you backed off mid-campaign?
Right. It's tough. I'd like to.
Yeah.
But it's not one that I can see myself, jumping in with dueling, right?
You don't-
75% of the way through,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just jump in with dueling. So
Frosthaven might be the
I might
lead.
play solo.
Eric's
or I
looking
might
this
play
way.
with
He might be
Eric.
willing.
Yeah, he might be.
I mean, to be fair, I
There's
think
Eric.
we only have
Yeah, we're close.
4 or 5 scenarios.
We're genuinely very close. We've played through 85%.
That sounds like a
of
promise.
this game. I love it so much. I don't want it to strictly
You
be
heard it
nostalgia,
here.
But
Eric's going to get his butt to the game table. Number 1. Where
number
are we
two.
going?
Number 2.
This is number 2?
No, this is
No,
number 2.
Where are
We're
we
about
going with
to
number
reveal
1?
Oh yeah, we're going with number 1.
This is a dual one.
Yeah.
A dueling duet.
All right. So let me
What do you
guess.
think it is?
I think
He knows. There's no way
Yeah,
you don't know.
I think it's going to be the same as my number 1 of all time,
Is it still your number 1 of all time?
Bus.
No. You didn't actually think it was Bus.
Well, no, I don't actually think it's Bus. I was just re-announcing.
Is
How
Bus
great-
your
how
number
great-
1 of
how
all time?
Bus is amazing.
How great is
by
Bus?
the way?
How
Bus
great
is
is Bus?
incredible.
I've never played Bus.
I know.
It's so good.
So I put out my top 10 list, and Kingdom Death was taken off the rack. It's 0 for me. It's
Right.
Oh,
unfair.
yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot
Bus
about that.
hit number 1, and everyone around me, except for the people that have played it with me,
It's so good.
everyone around me went, when did you like Bus?
We played it with Sean
Yes,
and Jane,
yes,
right?
Yes. And then I started playing it with people. And so I haven't played with Alex, but I've started playing it every other week with every new person I have in my circle, and we get done with a game, and so far, across the board, people have sat back, and they've gone, I don't know about number 1,
But
but I can see where you're coming from.
it's so good.
So good.
It's so
What's
good.
your number 1? I don't have a guess. I really don't. Oh, Root!
Yeah, it's
Yeah?
gotta be. It's gotta
This
be.
is your tie number
It
1?
has to
Can
be.
I admit something?
Yeah.
You are the reason I played this for the first time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And
This
it was
is the
actually-
first time you met Jesse. We played Root.
Yeah.
The first time,
Yeah.
he ever came down to Richmond.
And I remember on our way.
Do you get the rules right now?
Yes.
Because back then, and still to today, I cannot for the life of me
to be
get this
fair,
thing right.
the vast majority of our plays have come on the app where it takes the rules for you.
Yeah, it
So,
absolutely does everything for you, which is fantastic. But one of the best games
I've played this game mostly app-based 70
Yeah.
times this year. 70
I have
times.
not played the app yet.
Oh, it's incredible.
If you like this
It
game,
obviously loses a bit of that table
Sure.
talk, but
Oh, man.
as long as you still chat with the people that you're playing, I'm not about going into the app and
You
finding
play
a
it-
random online lobby.
Do you play the app turn-based, or you sit down for a
We play it
purposeful game?
asynchronous over
Okay,
a couple of
asynchronous.
days.
That's
each
cool.
game.
That sounds great.
But there's always that bickering with our friends.
you're texting
and it
each other.
fulfills that purpose.
oh,
that Root
it's so
gives.
good.
We've gone. The meta has drastically changed, right? The otters suck. The otters are amazing.
Yeah.
The vagabond sucks. The vagabond is overpowered. Like,
Yeah.
the birds suck. The birds are great. The cats suck. The cats still suck, though. The cats still
The
suck.
cats
That's never
always
changing.
suck. Yeah.
The cats suck.
I almost always play the cats.
They're terrible. I hate them.
because it balances the game.
It
though.
does.
Okay, that's
need-
fair. That's fair.
you-
If you have a
is
person
a
who's way too
complaint.
good at the
Someone's
game,
got to play the cats.
Someone-
That is a
Someone's got
complaint that we have with Root.
Yeah.
That's a qualm. The base game unfortunately requires cats and birds in a
It does.
four-player game.
It does.
You can't really play it without
Yeah.
both those. And then the
At a
Riverfolk
three-
expansion.
At a 3-player, you're
Right.
stuck playing some big faction.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Riverfolk doesn't really add any big player count factions. I know the Otters maybe, but
The next
Really
wave,
the
though, is going to
duchy.
be potentially introducing smaller, minor factions
Correct, the
that
Marauders.
pull a 2-player
Yes.
into a realistic.
and that's why I'm incredibly excited about the future of Root still. As the app gets the Underworld expansion, as the core game, or the
Yeah.
box gets the Marauders expansion,
Cool.
it's
Yeah.
going to fill that 2-player void. But we haven't even talked about the game. The
Talk about the
asynchronous, or not asynchronous,
I mean,
got stuck
we're
that
on
word.
our channels.
Right.
A lot of people
Know about this.
talk about this.
The asymmetric powers, where everyone has to focus on
Oh, that's the
something
best part.
entirely different.
oh,
And everyone knows a little bit about what the other person's doing, but they don't know what cards they have in their hand. They don't know if they're, planning for a big favor card or planning for big crafting points and whatnot. And it's just such a nice push and pull of, hey man, I'm the Lizards and you're the Woodland Alliance. We need to stop talking dirty, hitting each other, because if we do, we will kill each other out of the entire game, and the next person's just going to win
Cool.
because we're going to neuter each other. It's such a good game in the same way that Twilight Imperium works, kind of, where you have that table talk that really decides a lot about it.
does have a lot of that.
Area Control is one of my favorites.
Yep.
Okay.
Of all time, and this is easily the one I've played the most. It's It's the one I'm drawn to the most. I mean, the creatures are
The theme, the
so
art.
cute.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And the asynchronous player powers are just amazing.
You said asynchronous too. We're stuck on that word.
Asymmetric.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Thank you.
We were talking about the app and it got all...
Who's your favorite, by the way?
Still the Corvid.
Corvid. Okay.
I love the Corvid.
He loves the Corvid
I
too.
love the Corvid too, but I've only played him twice.
I
and
love,
with you
I
both
love
times.
I love the hidden gem
Yeah.
of like, what are you putting down? How are you screwing people?
Vagabond and Otters are my two favorites.
Okay.
Strictly because, again, 70 out of my 72 plays have come from on the app,
Sure.
and they don't have the Corvid in the app
Sure.
yet. But
Lizard and Woodland Alliance. I love being...
Oh, lizard guy.
Yes.
Wait, you like infecting
I
things.
do.
I love
I was
that.
about to say, I like
that,
being
though.
the virus.
Those two mechanics, though, are either wrong for you or really, really good.
And that's why I love this
I
game.
want to play with you badly now. Now that
please
now
play.
that I've heard that he knows where he
Oh,
exists.
yeah.
Because I think one of your first games.
oh, his very first
Your
game.
very first game.
He watched
Did that-
Sam at Lord of the Boards tutorial on the way
your
to the
very
playthrough.
first game was on camera on Quackalope.
Yes.
And now this is.
My favorite game of all time.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
I
The
thought you'd
story
like
writes
that.
itself.
What a cool circle.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
story
yeah,
writes
yeah.
itself.
Was this number one on your last list?
No, Death May Die was number one on my last list.
So this is a cool moment to have this circle back
Yeah.
too. That's awesome. That's so fun.
That's Root, baby.
If you've made it to this point, seriously, if you've made it, even if you skip forward just to see what number one was, I know there's an audience of people that love Root here on the channel because we grew up on it, right? And played every rule wrong. These guys
Still
played
do.
enough. They don't.
With
make
the
sure,
app's help.
make sure you swing over. Again, link at the very top of the video description. Go give them a like, leave a comment, check out some of their stuff. Seriously, these two, you guys make, and not just because I'm friends with you, because if I was friends with you and you still made
You're
crap,
friends with me?
yeah, dueling.
Oh.
And you made
Asterisk.
terrible content.
You let us know.
I would be like, man, you gotta, like, what are you doing? What's your object? You're wasting your time, right? I'll tune in and watch some of your stuff if I just want to, like, feel like I'm sitting down around with some friends, because I know both of you. You're also funny. Like, I watched your Scorching, like, your
hotness
the
video?
hotness video, going through, going through the most recent hot games,
Yeah.
talking about them, and honestly, by the middle of the video,
We barely talked about the
neither one of
games.
you are focused on the game anymore.
We're focused on the pain.
It's just so fun. It's just so fun. So
I appreciate it, man. I really
I unequivocally at this point am telling you, like, part of the reason of doing this was to draw some more attention over to Tablenauts and what they were working on. So do that. I got one other thing I want to mention at the very end, like something I'm working on. Now that I know where this sits for both of you, maybe
good.
we should coordinate on this together. The last time I put a Root gameplay video out, I did a lot of things wrong.
Yeah, you did.
You know what? one of the big things I did wrong is I switched highs and lows somehow on the dice.
I saw.
Like, how do you do that?
The Woodland Alliance lost the only ability it was supposed to have.
Woodland Alliance wasn't in the game though.
Oh, okay.
And the game came down to a couple points. It was a tight game, a really good game, which is why I just pinned someone's comment correcting it and left it. It's a really good game. It's just
Entertaining,
long. It's
right.
just
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
I would like to do a gameplay, like a 4-player, where I get together every rule I consistently miss, and them's the rules we play by.
Oh, like a
Eerie.
Root
Wow.
remix.
Yes. So
House
dice.
rules.
So dice change.
Defense always gets higher.
Defense always gets higher. Eerie can move to or from because that
Not
just
just
makes
from,
sense.
right.
Not just from. Of course not. Woodland Alliance will shuffle the board, whichever ability, or not Woodland Alliance, Marquita Cat will shuffle the board, whichever ability is your rescue ability is the one you're playing with. Because they had the update on the board. Same thing with the lizards. You play in old school, you play in new school. We'll see.
Oh, last time I played Lizards on your channel, I scored 4 points, I think. It was great.
That is true. I mean, so like, I'm just gonna set that on the table there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Because I think that
Any excuse to play Root.
Yep, absolutely.
I think my channel deserves to.
I was going to
have-
say, as long as it goes on your channel, I don't care if the rules are
No,
wrong.
I think at this point, because of the amount of mistakes we've made, my channel deserves to have the wrongest gameplay
Root remix.
Listen,
of Root possible.
man, it's only fitting with how awful our Nemesis playthrough was.
We made a caricature out of board games.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. These guys both need to go to bed. I forced them to stay up way later than I should have, but the 6-hour drive down to hang out for a day was 100% worth it. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Subscribe to... Why have you not clicked off this video yet?
Yeah, leave.
What are you doing? Seriously?
You hate
Click
me?
the link below. I know it's going to stop the video. Go subscribe. No, it's literally popping. Well, you can subscribe to me too, I suppose. If you're still here at this point, honestly, now you're just screwing up.
Yeah.
You're not even watching. They've passed out.
No.
Wake up. If you're watching now, you've fallen asleep while YouTube's going. Wake up. You've got a channel to subscribe to. I'm just telling you, honestly, you're in a dream.